Hello guys, this is Agony333 and I decided to make another movie review, and it is off of a movie that I really like, but at the same time it's a fairly disturbing movie, and more than likely if you're into that kind of movie, the genre of the very, big disturbing films, you've heard of it. It's called A Serbian Film, and unfortunately I don't own this movie, but I've watched it. The uncut version, to my knowledge, I've watched. And, yeah, it's a mind-blowing film, at least I think so. So I'm gonna make this video a lot shorter than my other ones, instead of going on about it and shit, I don't want to go through the whole damn movie. So, I'm gonna start with a summary, like I always do. So the movie pretty much begins, and it is about a family, about one guy mainly. His name is Milos, and he is a porn star, or he was a porn star, I think is how it goes. But anyways, he has a wife and he has a child, a young son. And the problem for him is that he is pretty much going into poverty, in a sense, like he's losing, money. He has barely any money left. He wants to put his kid through college, so he wants obviously more money to have a good life with. And so he obviously thinks the best thing to do would be to go back into the porn industry. And soon after that, he meets a woman he previously has known from the porn industry, and she says that there is a director and writer of a movie that is willing to give him an unspecified amount of money. And the amount of money, which is mentioned in the film, it isn't the actual number, but it's mentioned that the money is so much that it would pretty much last Milos throughout his lifetime and be more than enough to put his child into college and be there for his kid. So it's a huge amount of money, and the writer-director is pretty much offering this much amount of money if Milos will star in his porn film. But the catch is that Milos must agree to do this film without knowing what is actually going to happen in the film. And that's pretty much the summary, without giving anything away, and I mean, I remember reading it and it sounded interesting, but I know there's a lot of other people that I had mentioned it to, and they're like, what the hell is this? It doesn't even, they thought it was stupid or something. And I thought it was a fantastic film when I watched it, because I knew it was going to be crazy, but for other people that I showed it that thought it was going to be dumb, they really enjoyed it. And that's the twisted part, is the amount of sick things and the depraved level that this film gets to, but it is still, at the end of the day, a fantastic film. That's what's almost disturbing in a sense of its own, is that you're seeing this messed up stuff, but the acting is so grammy. It's like top notch to me. I mean, you can't really replace these guys, because they're just, like, the emotion and the acting in this film is grand. And now will be about the time I'm going to go into the spoilers. I'm not going to go into the whole movie like I said. I'm just going to try and narrow it down to the specific scenes that would make this movie noteworthy and being a disturbing film. And so if you have not seen this movie, turn the video off and go find it to watch somewhere. But I'd really recommend checking it out rather than the spoilers, because it is fantastic, and there's a pretty good amount of twists, and it is shocking as hell, especially if you don't know what's coming. I mean, I went into the movie knowing what was going to happen, unfortunately, but it was still shocking even then. So I mean, I can only imagine how it is for someone who doesn't even know what is going to happen. It would be that much more intense for them. But yeah, now's the time for spoilers. Turn off the video, and here I go. Okay, pretty much he's offered that role, Milos, and he decides to go with it. He decides to do it, to try anyways, and it starts off somewhat slow. He goes into an orphanage, I believe it is, and a woman starts trying to, she starts like giving him a blowjob and everything, and then he notices that a child is watching him being given a blowjob by a woman. And this obviously disturbs him, and yeah, it disturbs the hell out of him. He wants to stop, but then the bitch like bites down on him on his dick, and he punches her in the face to get her off. And yeah, it gets more messed up than that. I mean, like that's the beginning scene, not the beginning scene of the movie, but I mean that's like the first, I think, real scene that he actually does for that movie in particular. So I mean, if that's the least crazy that it gets, because it gets worse as it goes. And pretty much that's what Milos realizes is after doing that, and I'm not sure, I think he does a couple others, he decides to tell the director and writer that he doesn't want to go on with this movie because it progressively gets more depraved and more sickening as it goes on. And obviously, like, that's the thing with this movie, is even though Milos is a porn star, he obviously cares about his wife and kid. You can tell that. I mean, if you watch this movie, you can obviously tell that. I mean, he may enjoy it. I don't know if he honestly enjoys it. It's a job or whatever, but I mean, he's mainly doing it for his family. He's not just doing it for entertainment. He's not just doing it to get off. He's not doing it to come back into the industry. He just wants to make money to support his family, you know. And so he decides he doesn't want to go through with it after it gets so messed up. So what happens, unfortunately, is they don't take no for an answer. They pretty much slip him, they slip him a drug. They end up injecting him with a drug, slipping him a drug, sorry. And the drug is, I guess, it's a kind of drug that it makes you kind of just like lose yourself in a sense, and it just makes you, I guess, incredibly horny or whatever. You're kind of like an animal on this drug, you're in this state. And so they pretty much use that so that way he can't really, you know, think and operate, you know, function and pretty much tell them no. He's pretty much, you know, theirs to use. And then as the movie goes on, sicker shit happens, but pretty much at the point where he says no and he leaves, the movie cuts to a point where he wakes up in his bed with blood all over him. And he notices that it's been 3 days since he told the guy no. And he's like, what the hell happened? He doesn't remember what happened. He just woke up with blood all over him. 3 days later, I think it was 3 days later, and he has no clue what the hell happened. So he drives out to a location of where he met the writer and director. No one's there, and he pretty much finds this camera, and he starts finding tapes of like the porn things he was doing. And he tries to piece together what happened over the past 3 days. And that's where a good part of the more disturbing scenes come in, is things that he doesn't remember, but he sees through the camera. And all kinds of sick shit happens. I mean, because one of the biggest scenes to me that was disturbing was one right before he said, well, he pretty much said he was like done. But the director was insistent on showing him a scene, because the director, throughout the film, you pretty much learn he's fucking insane. And so he ends up showing Milos the scene, and the scene it's fucking disturbing. In my opinion, the most disturbing scene in the movie, and I think a lot of people would agree with me. And it's a scene because he shows it on a big screen. He closes the blinds. He shows this scene that he had made, and there's this guy in a hood, and he has a pregnant woman on a table. And then he has her give birth, and the babies, you know, just came out, just, you know, the woman just gave birth, and then he rapes the baby. Yeah, it's that fucking disgusting. And I mean, I would have never thought anyone would put that in a movie, because I mean, it's almost like so sick you wouldn't even think about it unless you're one of those kind of people who's like a pedophile or someone fucked up like that. I mean, I would have never thought to put that in one of my movies if I made one, even if I wanted it disturbing. I mean, it would be so kind of like out of, you know what I mean, like such a high level of like insanity and disgusting that I wouldn't even thought of it. But that scene is just, it's horrifying. I mean, the noise, 'cause I mean, you hear the baby squealing, and it's really fucked up, majorly fucked up. And pretty much once that happens, Milos gets up and leaves, and then that's when pretty much the drink he was drinking right before that picture was the drug that had been slipped to him. But that was a scene that I forgot to mention before the events I'm talking about now. But pretty much he finds out through these tapes that over the course he had been raped by a man, because they had knocked him out. Pretty much they had gave him a sedative or something, and this other man raped him. So Milos got raped. He participated in a scene where he raped a woman, beat her while he was raping her, and then used a machete to cut off her head and fuck her dead corpse at the same time. So yeah, like while he's having sex with her, he beheads her and continues to have sex with her corpse. So yeah, it's really fucked up, I'm telling you. I mean, this is one of the top fucked up films I've seen when it comes to like the sick shit they put in it, and the effects in this film are fantastic. I mean, they're realistic. They look great. I mean, I wonder how much funding went into this film, because the acting, like everything about this film is perfect to me. I mean, the music is fantastic. It's fucking excellent music. I love the music in this movie. The actors are perfect. The director, like I mean, you can feel the insanity when he talks, the way he portrays himself. Milos, he seems like, just a normal guy. He's a kind person, and you see how he cares about his family, and he does not like this disturbing shit. He wants out of it. So I mean, you really get to see how he is, and his family's, a typical kind of family, just trying to make ends meet, survive. But, not only that happens, but then, I'm trying to think what else, because there's a few. Oh, and they try to get him to molest a young girl. They try to get him to have sex with a minor, a young girl, and I'm guessing that's around the time where the drugs wore off or something, because that's when he got to thinking again, and he was like, fuck this, and he tried to escape. But I think the drugs were still there or something, for some reason he snapped out of it for a moment to escape, and he left, and pretty much he got recaptured, and I'm pretty much going to be talking about the end of the movie now, because I've went through a lot of it. The grand finale, it's an epic one, to me anyways. I mean, like, the Saw movies, they have great endings. At least some of them do. The earlier ones have fantastic endings with the music. The timing of everything in those movies is fantastic when it comes to the twist and the music. Like, I mean, it's just, you're in shock when you see a twist like that. And it's almost done in a similar style. Like, a moment at the end of the movie happens, and you can tell something's going on, and the music just adds to it. And when the moment the twist is revealed, you're just stunned. Even me knowing it was going to happen, it fucking blew me away. To see it happen was just disturbing, because at the end of the movie, he pretty much runs out of the tapes, and he ends up tracing his steps to one of the last places he had visited the night before waking up. And it's a warehouse-like place, and he goes into the warehouse, and pretty much he goes in there and he sees dead bodies around and knows something happened, and that's when he remembers what happened there. And what happened there is the grand finale that I'll explain now. He's led in there, and he ends up killing the nurse, because this nurse throughout the movie is giving him shots of this drug and stuff like that. And another scene, I'm sorry, I forgot to mention, through the VHS tapes, well, not the tapes that he's watching, okay? The tapes that he's watching, one of them shows the woman who offered him the job in the beginning, who is also a dear friend of his. It shows the same hooded man who molested the baby, and it shows the man chain her up, pretty much her teeth is all yanked out, and he pretty much suffocates her with his dick. He shoves it in her mouth, and yeah, she suffocates on it. Yeah, that's how twisted this movie is. I'm telling you, I mean, there's very few movies to me that really top how fucking insane and depraved this shit gets. But pretty much throughout the movie, there's also another character who is Milos' brother, who you can kind of tell through the movie is jealous of Milos, who is jealous because you can tell that he likes Milos' wife, that he really, wishes something could happen between them, but she is loyal to Milos. And you can tell that he is also jealous of how well known Milos is, because Milos is like a very famous porn star, and he's angry that Milos can satisfy women and all that bullshit. But now on to that grand finale. I'm sorry I fucked up. Trying to keep things together here, I'm sorry. But here it is, okay. Milos kills that nurse, and he comes into the main room, and there is a bed, and there are two bodies with this like black blanket over them, covering them up so you can't really see them. And pretty much Milos comes up because he's in that horny fucked up state because he just got injected with it. He comes up, and the director pretty much says, go to them, do whatever, whatever the fuck. But pretty much Milos goes up and just starts having sex with one of the bodies. And the hooded man appears, the man with the hood, and he starts having sex with the body next to Milos. And this is all being taped because remember, it's a fucking porno. So, you see these two bodies, you don't know who they are, and they're, have this blanket over them, and then you see Milos having sex with one, and then you see a hooded man having sex with the other. And while this is happening, you see that the director pulls the hood off of the one that the hooded man is having sex with. Well, actually, I think, the first one he pulls off is the hooded man. And the hooded man turns out to be Milos' brother. So yeah, Milos' brother is the sick fuck who raped the baby, who killed that woman by suffocating her, and he's having sex with someone right next to Milos. And then the director pulls the sheet off of the person that the brother's having sex with, and it's Milos' wife. He's raping her. And so she is like, I guess, had a sedative or something, but she's being raped by Milos' brother. And then as the icing on the cake, the most fucked up part of the whole grand finale, the director removes the blanket from the one that Milos is doing, and it turns out that Milos is having sex with his own son. His young son is the person that he's having sex with. Yeah, it's shocking because you're just sitting there and you're like, oh my god. Like with each like reveal of who it is, it's just like, damn. And finally, when it's all revealed, you just see Milos like horrified, and then his wife wakes up pretty much, and she just snaps and knocks the brother down and ends up fucking biting his throat out and shit. And then Milos flips the fuck out and he leaps off the bed and he grabs this huge fucking this huge statue and just starts bashing the director's fucking skull in. And the director is so fucking insane. He's so out of it that he's like shouting, it's a masterpiece, like he's talking about his movie. He's like, it's a masterpiece, while he's having his fucking face crushed in and shit. He's like, I think it's just fucking insane. The movie is fucking nuts. And then Milos kills the other bodyguards, one of which, I guess doesn't have an eye, because his sunglasses gets knocked off, and then Milos in the fight ends up killing the man by shoving his penis into the man's eye socket and killing him. Yeah, it sounds more outrageous than it is. When you're watching this movie, it's intense as hell. It's not like, funny as it probably is here listening to me say it. I mean, when you're watching this, it's like, holy shit, like this stuff just happens so quick, and it's intense, and it's emotional. And, so yeah, I'm done with that. The actual end of this movie, once that happens, Milos pretty much recovered all his memory, knows what happened, and he remembers that he took his wife and kid back to his house and locked them in the basement. And that's when he passed out on the bed. So he goes back to the house, he opens the door, and his wife and son are just, sitting there, and the next scene is, he tries to hug her and she pushes him away, I think it is. I'm trying to remember. It's been a while since I've watched it, but I got most of it right. But anyways, the movie ends with pretty much the notion that they can't live normally anymore because it was such a traumatic event. Because after that happened, like, the son, I'm guessing the sedative obviously is worn off, but the son doesn't even talk. He's completely mute. He's just, like, sitting there dazed, like he's been so traumatized by it that it is like, yeah, everything's fucked up. And everyone in that whole situation was, horribly affected. So the movie ends very sad ending for me. Because, I liked Milos as a character. He was, I guess I grew to like his character. And, I understood how he cared about his family, but the ending is where they realize that they can't live anymore, and they all go lay down in the bedroom together, Milos, his wife, and then the son between them, and he points a gun and pretty much shoots, and it goes through all three of them and kills them. So, but that's not the ending, the actual ending. That's what you'd think. The actual ending to this movie is after they kill themselves. After they kill themselves, what happens is, the last scene, you see this man that was shown earlier in the film, a man that was visiting the writer and director, and you see him come into the home, and then you see him have a guy, and then he's like, start with the little one, and you see the guy unzip his pants, and then the movie cuts off. Yeah. So the movie ended with, another film is going to be made, and this guy is obviously going to start the film by having sex with Milos' dead son. That should prove to you how fucking sick this film is. But I'm keeping my promise that it's shorter than the last one, because I went too long on that, in my opinion. I'm sorry. Acting was fucking great. It seriously was great. Everyone in my mind in this movie was a great actor. They were top-notch people. They helped the emotions, the anger, like the different emotions that you see in this movie are done perfectly. Music was also great. It went perfectly with it. It's like usually I think it's like industrial like music. And it's fucking intense. The music is intense, and it just, it's one of those soundtracks that gets you really pumped and gets you on the edge of your seat because it goes perfectly with what is going on in the movie. And the storyline is great. I thought it might be different when I'm talking about it, but when you watch it, it is so much different. It's very different from when you watch it. I mean, because if you go and you read on Wikipedia or you listen to me giving a review, I don't know what you're thinking. It might sound stupid. It might sound just, fucked up. But when you actually watch it, it's really good in my opinion. So, me personally, I'd give it a review of 9 out of 10 because it's just a fucking great film overall. To me, it was a great film, and I don't know. There's many people that obviously have different views of it, because there's some fucking really sick parts. But if you do decide to watch it, go for the uncut version. Go for the one that has the most there for you, the most footage and everything. And but yeah, the movie was fantastic. If you're into that, I say definitely watch it if you can. Seriously, find it, watch it. You won't be sorry, because I was stunned, I was shocked, and it was a great fucking movie, and I hope one day to actually own the movie. But that is the end of the review. I try to keep it a little shorter. I obviously went a little too long, but I hope you enjoyed the review. I hope maybe some of you guys can check out the movie. I will see you later. Peace out, guys. This was Agony333 signing off.